We're going to take a look at Club Penguin, which did not end as tragically as Webkinz did, because it ended more tragically.
Club Penguin went live nearly around the same time as Webkinz, and was a smash success. You could tell because Disney bought it, and yep, the good old Disney purchase. Take something good and kill it. Club Penguin was kind of free, but they did put a ton of features behind a paid membership. And as a kid who played with a free membership for hours and hours, it kind of felt like complete crap. You couldn't even dress up your penguin if you were a free player. So you'd often just walk into an igloo, and everyone automatically knew you were f***ing poor. You also weren't able to decorate your igloo as a free player, and you could only adopt a red or blue puffle, the pets of the world, and you'd be locked out of the occasional VIP events. Like, why even let people walk for free?
Now look, I'm not saying Disney would orchestrate an environment for kids that would encourage them to spend more money or anything like that, but
Now look, you could still experience the general gist of Club Penguin, walking around, talking to people, and playing the mini-games, but it just always felt kinda crappy. Considering this game is, well, a club with many people talking, inherent social statuses would develop, and I remember seeing free players get bullied quite often. I think the thing that was most strange about this game is the fact that you could really talk to whoever and honestly just say basically whatever you want. Club Penguin claims it had moderation, and it does have some filters, but as a kid who grew up playing this every day, I call it hearsay to say this game was completely safe. Obviously, you couldn't just join a lobby and go all angry video game nerd on people. They did have some restrictions. If you typed in a swear, it just wouldn't send, and you weren't able to enter numbers, a protection for people who would ask for your age. The problem is, it was super easy to get through the censors. I remember seeing swears all the time, just spelled out in many different ways, and I remember penguins would get around the numbers rule by throwing a certain amount of snowballs when asked an age. Like, I'll be honest, I wouldn't have let my kid play this game. Go back to Webkinz. There was a specific niche culture on Club Penguin in this era, though, that I don't think will ever be replicated again. I remember so much about the experience. People used to host parties and go to the main lobbies and advertise the hell out of them. Then you would go and you'd see the hard work they put into decorating, and it would just genuinely be fun to hang out and talk to people. There were so many rumors about this game too, like tipping the iceberg. People, myself included, would go to it all the time, take out the jackhammer, and swear that it was gonna tip over the more we worked on it.
so basically we just wasted our time.
Now eventually the iceberg did tip, which is pretty funny that the developers noticed that this was a recurring trend. Some stuff on Club Penguin was just weird though. I remember people used to hang out at the pet shop and pretend they were waiting to be adopted. Now as a kid, I didn't think anything of it, but looking back, yeah. And another problem is people used to online date and, roleplay. Yeah, roleplay, let's just say that. Into public places. Again, I really don't think kids should have been exposed to this sort of thing. Now look, I grew up with Club Penguin and I came out just fine.
You're the kid they laughed at because Bakugan sucks!
So it's not like this was genuinely traumatizing for everyone, and it's unlikely you'd explicitly see something offensive on your day-to-day playthrough. But looking back on it as an adult, just the idea of how this site worked kinda makes me uncomfortable. But hey, there's plenty from Club Penguin that had nothing to do with this aspect. For one, there were servers that had basically no chat period, which is a ton safer. But on top of that, there was still a decent amount of things to do without other penguins, like the aforementioned minigames. Like with Webkinz, they were a bit derivative, but still incredibly charming, and the animations of the penguins in them really added to this universe. Despite there being better Flash games on sites like coolmathgames.com and Newgrounds, those sites were always a wild west full of crap. Oh my god. My parents and schools never really liked me on those sites, so at least with Club Penguin, it was a place for minigames that you could sort of trust, and I think that was sort of the biggest appeal of it. And of course, there were many events and new additions. I distinctly remember when they added a dojo where you had to take a whole test to become a ninja. There were holidays, decorations, and even immersive world-building events like anniversary parties. And when the game was feeling really daring, they'd even throw in some good old natural events. Yeah, I don't know why they did that. Club Penguin became a smash hit, and its popularity meant that it would evolve into not just a game, but a franchise. Toys were released, some of which I even owned, and even video games on the Nintendo DS and Wii. Now these games were sort of trash, but we'll save that for another day. I just wanted to give you an idea of how big this franchise was. This is one of the only games of this nature that I distinctly remember blatant ripoffs releasing too, including a panda-oriented game called Pan Fu, which we all played as kids in my classes because it was not blocked by our network, but Club Penguin probably rightfully was. It's really funny even thinking about that, but we genuinely all made accounts to play it. There was even a Build-A-Bear Club Penguin thing, and I remember playing it, but honest to God, I don't know why. I'm getting off topic though, but my point is that Club Penguin was an extremely popular franchise that would be a defining aspect of millions of childhoods.
So Disney decided, let's kill it in cold blood.
The day was January 30th, 2017. Disney announced in a newsletter that Club Penguin would be discontinued in approximately 2 months. This was so everyone would go over to their amazing, in their words, new product, Club Penguin Island, which was so amazing that it ended after a measly 2 years. I was 17 at the time this released, and I felt way too old to even consider playing something like it. But looking at the footage online, It looks abysmal, okay? It looks absolutely abysmal. Let me remind you that this was released in 2016, and honest to God looks like something that would be on the PlayStation 2. Club Penguin Island mainly started as a phone game. It would eventually come to PCs, but that's pretty much a good reason for why it looks this bad. But in my opinion, at that point, you really should just do a cartoony style and save some face. We learned nothing from Pac-Man Kart Rally, okay? But the better question, in my opinion, is who the hell is this supposed to appeal to? Are you trying to appeal to dedicated, hardcore Club Penguin players? Well, that's out the window, because people who played it on the PC probably aren't going to want to just switch over to a phone game. It eventually did come to PC, like I said, in 2018 when basically no one cared. So are you marketing this towards kids? Great idea, because kids in 2016 know just what Club Penguin is, right? Why not just bring back Neopets while we're at it?